exposure that them if you don't tell them if you don't tell them about it that they will see it somewhere outside or they'll see their parents doing it, you understand? All the small children.
Yeah, I definitely saw them doing it.
Who? You?
Parents
Oh.
Do you know what?
doing it.
Oh, my thing is, wouldn't you, especially when you know that in this society we're in now, if you step out of your door, it's sex waiting for you outside. Wouldn't you want them to know what it is in your house? Come on first, and as early as possible before they go and learn what would scatter their minds and what would give them a wrong notion about it. Because if I'm being honest, a lot of us, this what we know about sex, so our foundation of sex is either from music or from movies or from porn or from what you've seen or from what our friends tell us. And those things are not usually accurate at all.
That's what I was talking about.
At all.
That's where you see it very well.
Porn?
They talk about it like it's nothing.
People who watch porn for and think that that's how sex usually is. You were a joker. See, in reading this Thomas question, I'm ready to get upset. Did the conversations with them mean anything to you? Do anything for you? Was it effective? It's very looking at that word effective. Effectiveness is very subjective because is it effective or is it also toxic? You could say if any man touches you, you get pregnant, and that could work for a time. But the thing about teaching people about things like sex in the wrong way and slapping the information with your bias, especially if it's your wrong bias, or even if you have a good intentions, or if you're trying to make a good point, but you go about it the wrong way. The thing is, them being held back by that information you give them, it works for a certain period of time. But they grow. And then they grow and they start to think to themselves, that thing you told them is bullshit. So what do? Either they seek the information for themselves. One of two things happens. They either get good information or they get bad information. If they get good information, good for them. They become better people, they become more informed, and they get a better sense of what it is, and they get a better sense of how to teach other people. If they get bad information, then they just go down the rabbit hole of trashness, and they just go down the rabbit hole of bad decisions. So you have a certain intention, but you're doing more harm than good. So it's very very interesting to me when I hear people talk to their children about sex, and they talk about it from a place of fear. They talk about it from a place of if I have sex, you go to hell. They talk about it from a place of just slapping consequences into you, consequences that at the end of the day, especially to a child or especially to a growing child, it might not really make sense, but because of the repercussions you painted in the head, be it the burning lake of fire, or be it them being out of school, or be it them being a mechanic, or be it anything. It works for a short period of time. It's very, I think it's like I said before, I think we just doing ourselves a great disservice when we just make it what it's not. If we're even being honest with ourselves, maybe not us. No, us. Because you see people around us, we see our mates that have very terrible mindsets about things pertaining to sex. And it's almost like you can tell that it's just from the misinformation they had, or just from lack of information thereof. And even looking at older people, you see people that just are not informed. I mean, they may be having sex because they feel like, well, because I'm married and I can be having sex, but at the end of the day, they are not really educated in it. Be it the particulars of it, be it how to really enjoy it, or just plus you even see them have the same useless mindsets that even some of our mates have regarding things like consent. You see people say reckless things online or in video. You see the other time I saw a man that was shouting at when girls were protesting about what they protesting about. I think it was when those 11 men raped on that girl,
Mm.
and people were protesting, and then he saw this man, Agbalagba like him, someone's father, saying things like, "Hey, it's your fault. You said, do you know how many?" A man, someone's father, saying it in the public. "Do you know how many girlfriends I have like you? You know, people want this money. You blah, blah, blah. If you want money, you know, they will give you the money. What do you want to expect them to do? You think you'll just take money and go, I say, daddy." I say, daddy. So now imagine someone like that has a son or has a daughter. What information is he passing down to them? It's just a I was about to do a circle like that. It's just a cycle of just trash. And the unfortunate thing, like Joshua said, is that even okay, let's give people the benefit of the doubt. They don't know better; they are learning. But because somebody is misinformed in their journey of learning, people are getting hurt along the way. You're dealing with people. People are getting hurt along the way. So you just, I don't know, man. I think you should wear them. Like, see that boy? I think he should know what sex is by now. Not from a place of, I'm having in there. But just knowing what it is. You get what I'm saying? And it shouldn't even be that, oh, come, sex is when man enters the like this. And it should be from a place of just, it should be, like I was saying before, it should be a fluid progression. It should start from a place of them just knowing, because just the little information they will have would inform things like you having a sibling of the opposite sex and having setting the senses to give them privacy without anybody telling you. But by the time you tell a child that you're a boy, this is a girl, you guys have different organs, different privates. Yeah? And because they are private, they are supposed to be private. You shouldn't show anybody, nobody should show you. Because even them just, a lot of people don't know that, and then you see them expose themselves to strangers. A lot of people don't know, and you see them being coerced into things by housemates and drivers. They don't know what's going on, but because drivers say remove your trouser, him to just remove his trouser. But if he knows that it is private, you say no, nobody's supposed to see it. Even you as a parent, you start to give them some privacy. You start to, you won't just say, okay, because you don't say, I change in front of me. Now you step out. You tell them to go into the room. It's a progression. It shouldn't be something that you just, man, never comment. You said, yeah, it doesn't have to be an awkward conversation. It's life, and kids should hear it firsthand from their parents before anybody else.
Well, let's say
I
something.
agree.
People, I say that nowadays, people, they've taken it as something that they've made it something very, very big. I feel like, how am I saying? They've made it something very, very big. Like, it's just one problem. The whole world, like, it's very, very big. That if you do it like this, hey, you're a bad person. If you do it like, hey, hellfire, straight. But at the same time, people have also taken it for granted. They made it so, people like our age now, they made it so common that it's like nothing.
But the thing is, I see that as it's a reaction. I feel like a lot of time, a lot of the time, it's a reaction. If you do this, this will happen. If you do this, this will happen. And they start to grow up, and they see people around them doing what you say they should not do, and they are fine, even having fun. And they think to themselves, either I was lied to, or what I was told was trash. So a direct reaction to that is the other end. So if you present to them this end of the spectrum, they are more likely to give you this other end of the spectrum, which is the truth. So and a lot of the time it is a reaction, and it's sad because when you don't introduce things to people on time and they are just thrust into it. Imagine somebody's first education on sex is then being molested by maybe an uncle or an auntie or a help or even their parents, then probably being raped. So they're just thrown into the deep end. That's their first experience of what sex is. What does they expect to happen? Not only are they maimed physically, That's even the child's play. Mentally, they're fucked up. Mentally, they're messed up because you see a lot of the time, and from that moment on, either they have a wrong notion of what sex is, or they just have to learn too quickly, or okay. It's almost like school. Instead of starting from nursery school, you're just thrust into GS3. Now you're telling yourself, oh, because I'm in GS3 now, I have to learn how to rush my education. Nah, but there's a process for a reason. So a lot of the time, maybe I see certain things, I hear certain things, and I'm like, I try to give benefits of the doubts. I try to say, okay, maybe they're misinformed. I see how people older than them didn't give them the right information. They weren't taught properly. They weren't told particulars about it. But that's why there's a place where you stop to give the benefit of the doubt, and then you start to require personal responsibility from them. You start to require the fact that they are getting older, you're starting to have your own mind. It's unfortunate that you weren't taught well, but then you now have the personal responsibility to unlearn and relearn or just learn all over. Yeah, we have fun.
I'm fine. Hi, how are you?
I'm fine.
Ekaleo.
Caro.
So I just wanted to say something. When you talked about the father sleeping with his daughter and the child not being able to tell the mom. First of all, when it comes to we Nigerians, our mothers, most of our mothers, they are very mean
You know
because
what?
they don't always.
You know what? Sorry, pause. Let me tell you something. Let me give you this story I heard. True life. True life story.
Okay.
True life.
Okay.
This daughter this daughter got married to a man. Obviously, they got married there in the house. 1 month, they've not had sex. 2 months, they've not had sex. 3 months, they've not had sex. 1 year, they've not had sex. The man was saying, "Don't give me time." The man was understanding. One day, the man went to work. And then she said to herself, I forgot something at home. Then she went back home. You're not ready. You're not ready. Calm down. Relax. She went back home. She opened the door. She saw her husband with another man. Not only was it another man, the other man was her father.
Stop.
Wow. That's mad.
Obviously, she lost her mind. She took knife, blah, blah, blah.
I'm always surprised that
Stop.
they,
Make
they don't.
Wait, that's not the end of it. That's not the end of it. That's not the end of it. After that whole madness, blah, 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 blah. Apparently, there was the whole story of, her father was the husband's senior in secondary school. So when she took him home, that's but this is her husband. That's when they reconnected. And apparently, they used to have a thing in secondary school. That's when they reconnected, blah, blah, blah. So the daughter sought solace in her mother, yeah. Do you know what the mother told her? The mother told her that I know your father is gay, but I mean, you have to live with it. So it's possible that a lot of the time, even the mother would know.
Loud.
That one said.
Very loud.
Even the mother, I mean, we've heard stories of mothers holding down their daughter for their husbands to rape. Continue.
God forbid. God forbid.
So what I was saying was they don't always create that atmosphere where we can just walk up to them and say like the silliest things and then what scares us and stuff. That is one. And second of all, some fathers are very close to their daughters to the point where they make you feel like what they are doing is right. Somebody in my church, I used to like mentor her one time and then she was telling me that she was told to her dad and her mom that he would come to her room and normally you would give her forehead kisses and pecks and stuff. She didn't see that as a big deal. So up one night he comes to her room and it's like, oh my baby, oh I just want to kiss you, I want to touch you, I want to make you feel safe and stuff. I was like, oh okay daddy, sleep with me. And they started touching her and then she's like, oh, I'm taking care of you, I'm protecting you. You know, like she didn't see it as a big deal until when she grew up and then she started having sex. That's when she knew that okay, this is what my dad was doing to me. He was actually so he painted it like he was doing something that fathers do for their daughters. Do you understand? And some people would even know, some children will know that their dads are doing something wrong, but they cannot tell their mom because their mom's like Shongo. Very mommy won't be not so. You understand? Like I don't think if my dad molested me, I don't think I would have been able to tell my mom because I don't have the courage. I don't know. I'm just saying I
You're
might
being
not have.
honest.
I would maybe that, but not my mom.
Mm.
Not because she's me, but I just like I've got to tell mommy daddy was touching me. And it doesn't sound right. So like so that's just it. So I guess I think the only solution to this is for mothers to actually communicate to their children right. Tell them what like the right things they should tell them. The boy to touch you, you get pregnant. It's not like that. It's not by touching. It's not by
What happened?
touching.
You know how many
you know,
pregnancy for don't get. For don't get
you
just
understand? So
children.
like you have to do kids. Like when I have kids, I'm going to my daughter once she starts talking well and working and she's already looking like she's already becoming a toddler. I'm going to tell her, girl, you have a vagina. You will have a breast eventually. But if anybody touches you, you have breast, then if anybody touches you, come and tell me. You know,
I
I
like
will
that
get
route.
all of
I like
that.
that route.
Come and tell me.
Growing up, I was just a lucky child because I grew up with a lot of uncles around, my dad's brothers, my mom's brothers. Like my mom would always go to work and she would leave us at home with my brother, my uncles. If they wanted to molest me, they would have, and I would have probably not been able to say it out. Do you understand? But I didn't even have the right information and stuff. So, like, not everybody was as lucky as I was. A lot of people out there are getting molested by their fathers, uncles, because they don't have the right information. It's not because of any other thing. Information is key. We need to say the truth. Let us not say kokoro. It's not kokoro, it's called a penis. Say it.
That is scientific. That's even the scientific word. It's a penis. Say it. What
It's
is
not even if
the penis? Oh,
So that's just it.
hey, hey, hey.
And it's just information. Mothers, fathers, tell your children. No, my father did not have the sex talk with me. Never, ever. And I don't think he would ever because he doesn't even want to even have a boyfriend or not. But he should. He should. He should know. He should talk to me about my mother's job. So that's just
hey, it be things oh.
so
Between.
how we
That
don't
boyfriend talk.
even
Things they occur.
That's when they start asking.
what
I say things they occur.
Where's your wife? You don't bring wife home, but you not
about. Can I go? And if you want to talk,
Hmm?
what is it?
Say can I go do still want to talk? Do you have any questions for me?
No, tell me, because I
Can I go?
don't do half for it. Like, because my head on the blow now, bro. Because I'm remembering things now. I remember it and I'm trying, because I see things and I'm like, but how? But I mean, I understand the place of just evil adults taking advantage of children and stuff. But I'm asking myself, this wouldn't happen this way if this child had certain information. Because you see a lot of things and the child doesn't see anything wrong with it. The child doesn't the child is just following instruction. It's one thing the child being forced,
Yes.
but the child is just
If the
following
child
instruction.
has information, they will do better.
Yeah.
There's this cousin of mine. She's not like my cousin, my neighbor actually. She comes to my house often and then we talk a lot. I tell her stuff. She just got a smartphone. She's just
Mm.
14. So like, when you start using phones now, it will do you one kind. You want to have boyfriend and stuff, those type of things. So like because I talk to her often, we talk a lot. I relate with her like she's my friend. Anytime somebody tries to like have a sex chat with her, she would run from her house and come and show me that Auntie Derin, see oh, what should I do? What should I do? And immediately I'll tell her, block the guy, block the guy, don't talk to him. If anybody does this,
You're
block him.
doing well, you're doing well.
That's how we're supposed to. So that's how it's supposed to be. So that means if a guy tries to touch her as well, that is how she will run and come and tell me that that person you are. You understand? Because she knows that it is not right. Do you guys understand? That's just it. Information is what we need.
Very chill. Thank you, man. You know you do a YouTube show.
What? What?
You know you be on YouTube, Abby. Still big ass nose.
Ah.
Same with your
Everywhere.
We'll put Gele for you.
Edit your job.
Darren, thanks. Bye.
I don't know, say
All
you
right.
get sense like this. So.
All right, bye. That was just a question.
Oh.